world is dead and the new world struggles to be born, said some author that I've totally forgotten. And in so many ways, the story of Lahore is all of our stories, all of our struggles to wrestle away from the legacy of our past. But God, it's like truly magical here. Few cities in the world deserve the title ancient, regal, majestic. See, the buildings, they tell a story here. Many stories. Persians, Afghans, Mughals, they've all been here. All been enchanted by Lahore's romance, its grace and silk and charm. There's a lot of pollution, but even the smog, it masquerades as this mystical mist. Yet so luminous is the legacy of the Mughals, the sky glows. Like the buildings have been traced by starlight or outlined with Kohinoor jewels. Lahore, you've captured me and I can't take my eyes off you. My whole life, I felt like a bad Pakistani with not much to feel proud of. And my whole life, I've longed for something to claim. To shout from the rafters, a legacy to wrap my flailing identity to. Oh, Lahore, will it be you? Yo, guys, we're in the old city of Lahore and a bit of a special treat. We're having a tour with an expert, Ali Rahman, who knows these cities like the back of his hand. We're literally going to all the secret spots that he's been searching and discovering over the last like 20 years to eat the most delicious breakfast in the old city. I feel super blessed to like Ali Bhai to take us around. Honestly, there couldn't be a better guy than Lahore to take us around on food tour.
Pleasure.
Lahori cuisine, what makes it distinct or unique from any other place?
See, Lahore is all about culture. You know, every dish here is at least 150, 200, 300 years old. So this shop where we're standing right now is 150 years old.
Oh, wow.
This is the third generation serving here. And every other place here would be at least 40 to 50 years old, 100 years old, if not more.
Whereas Karachi celebrated the new, Lahore is an ancient city. Its history permeates every element of life here, especially food. Recipes are old here, very old, refined by generations of different influence, mastery, and refinement. These mutton tikkis are fried deliberately and painfully slow, frying seductively the layers of phyllo pastry brown to form different layers of crunchiness. The halwa puri was decadent and rich, cutting through the deep-fried puris. Then there's the sharpness of the piyaz. This was just otherworldly.
Puris in desi atta, fried in pure 100% desi ghee. Then we have mutton tikkis.
Boy.
The crispiest and the flakiest mutton tikkis you can find in Lahore. And this is what it is. That
was hot.
This achar and the piyaz. And the special thing about piyaz is that it is in vinegar, which is an organic vinegar made at a very local shop here in Androon, Lahore. So you're not just having any ordinary food right now. It is one of the best that Lahore has to offer. And it's offering for the last 150 years. Look at the halwa.
Hello.
And this is pure desi ghee, man.
Wow. It's made from a different type of milk. Desi ghee.
Delicious, it's so fresh. It's like nothing I've ever had before. It's the sweet halwa with the savory breads and the savory chana and the tikkis and the flakiness. There's textures, there's sweetness, there's savory, there's everything. It's delicious.
No, there's no such thing as bad fat.
Just because we are fat.
And Lahore has a lot of heritage and legacy. So these guys have been making halwa puri for all their ages. And they've mastered and perfected. I'll not say Nihari because Ali Sumro is standing nearby and he'll say Karachi is the place for Nihari.
Nihari in Karachi is like
Bhai, lekin meri baat suno, bhai.
The only difference between Karachi Nihari and Lahore Nihari is the type of spices that they use.
Diplomatic answer. Safe.
I am stuck between Karachi and Lahore. I have to shuttle every day.
You know, when he's in Karachi, it's something completely different.
You know, a livable city where people can actually travel from one point to another with a span of like 10-15 minutes. Karachi is insane. Khana bhi acha nahi hai Karachi ka.
So the best.
Sumro kidhar hai? Sumro kidhar hai?
Very fortunate to be going on this tour with some good Lahori friends of mine, people in the food industry, the fashion industry. These are people who are kind of pushing culture forward in Lahore. So we're in good company. All of these kind of guys are like really involved in the future of Pakistan. And to be like traversing the old city with them is an interesting dynamic and a blessing as well. So I'm feeling very grateful. beautiful. We're checking out all the secret spots. It's amazing.
Nice surprise inside. Don't mind if I do actually.
One piece each. One piece each.
Door.
Dane chane. So they're like corn pieces that they roast in salt and sand.
This is for you. This is, the best lassi that you can have in Lahore. This is the most thickest, the most creamiest lassi with a thick layer of malai. If you put the camera here, so this is a thick layer of malai on top of the lassi.
Oh, it's thick, sweet, creamy. There's like a layer of malai. Stunningly delicious.
Like there's a science to this milk
There's
stuff,
a
right?
science to this thing. What happens is they take a little portion of already made yogurt, they take it and put it in the same container in which the earlier ones have been made. They do not wash them and the bacteria starts getting to work.
So what does that process provide? What does it give the milk?
The milk goes bad. The milk goes bad because of the bacteria that has been added to it. Sugar into it, layer of fat that forms on the yogurt on top, and then they scoop it up and then they put it on the glass, they layer it.
And these are like skills that have been developing over like years.
Hundreds of years. It is the best in Lahore.
Whoa, we are literally just approaching these two towering, beautiful minarets of the Wazir Khan Mosque. Stunning. Look at this. It's beautiful. I've been wanting to visit this for a very long time. Wow. If a building celebrated the peak artistry and triumph of mankind, it's this building. Every cubic centimeter is a piece of art. Intricate floral frescoes of burgundy, saffron, and sapphire hues. Like a child lost in a fantasy, except this one had come true. See, I had imagined these walls, basking in this history. And to top it off, we were all alone. These mosques and palaces, conceived by the same Mughal dynasty that built the Taj Mahal. But here in Lahore, you could enjoy it alone. Alone enough to revel in the epic romance and legends of the Sheesh Mahal. Emperor Shah Jahan's wife Mumtaz Mahal one day dreamt she was floating in the air so high that she could touch the stars. And when she woke and told her husband how she longed for that ecstasy she felt in the dream, he built her the Sheesh Mahal, a grand hall of tiny mirrors and gemstones, strategically assembled to reflect the moonlight and mimic being surrounded by dancing stars. The Badshahi Mosque, a dominant, colossal, yet beautiful building of red sandstone and white marble inlay. There are some places that literally take your breath away. Finally be here, literally this wonder of the world. I'm lost for words. Look how stunning it is. So the Badshahi Mosque used to be one of the biggest, most largest mosques in the Muslim world. It's a perfect example of Mughal architecture, which is distinct because it's like an amalgamation of the South Asian, of the Mughal, Central Asian, and also of the Arabian world as well. It's just glorious. Kind of witness it firsthand, feel it, and touch it. It's such a blessing. See, in my head, this is what Pakistan is. This glory, this dormant wealth. But look a bit deeper and the walls crumble and the paint fades. Instead, high-rise buildings are erected in Dubai-esque neighborhoods, but a voice inside my head whispers, why? When we sit on these foundations. Or maybe I was romanticizing it. As a foreign-born Pakistani, my need to feel proud of something unique, grand, and majestic.
But even like I know from my family of Pakistani origin, like diaspora Pakistanis, they come in expecting like Pakistan in general, Karachi also, to be a certain time-stamped version of what they remembered it. But like coming back, we actually realized that it's something completely different.
It is, and you know, like it's like how fast this place changes.
The question I have is like when diaspora come back, like when people are like me, like someone of Pakistani origin, diaspora comes back, like what is the perspective of like Pakistani nationals when they do?
It's divided. I mean, we like having them. Obviously, they're like guests and visitors and everything. Like I'm gonna get to the
sound really like enthusiastic.
I'm gonna get to the part. But you know the thing is what like part where like it annoys us is that don't speak for us because and this tends to happen a lot is that a lot of diaspora Pakistanis not taking away they're also Pakistani but at the end of the day they need to be cognizant and realize that they come with privilege. You have privilege in the sense that you have your foreign passports, you have your foreign national and all that stuff, and then when you come here and you talk about Pakistani issues and you're like, why is it like this, why is it like that, without understanding the context of it, without living through it, without knowing about the history of it, and you just come for your like your 10-day December stan wedding season kind of thing and then you come and patronize and then that annoys us and then you're like bruh, come on.
If you want to have a right to have a say, you need to do this time.
You need to have the privilege, you need to earn that.
I'm learning that as a diaspora Pakistani, I have been awarded certain privileges being raised outside the challenges of Pakistan. And what tends to happen so often is that many diaspora Pakistanis come back and assert a dominance or an opinion or righteous attitudes towards Pakistan. And as a result, there can be tensions between locals and diaspora. And it got me reflecting, is my need for heritage, culture and belonging undermining the very real challenges of day-to-day Pakistan? Poverty, security, safety. Am I being a bad Pakistani by even doing this video? Bilal doesn't think so. In fact, in many things he agrees with me. And he takes me to Empress Market to prove what I've been thinking all along.
Interestingly, though it is built on a former execution ground, in 1857 the locals in the British Army revolted against the colonizers for independence. The colonialists brought and executed all the locals who revolted over here at this very spot. So it became a site for protest and everything. So to make them forget about protesting and everything, what they did was they built a market over here and they're like, hey, forget about this independence.
All this nonsense.
Ain't nobody talking about this anymore.
I actually heard like it's in danger of actually like disappearing.
In the sense that like all of the small businesses that were around the market, they have been removed. So the current market in the state that I remembered as a child, it doesn't exist anymore. It's all just park and everything. But there used to be a lot of shops, a lot of small businesses that were removed. Like, and then they have plans to like set up like a museum, these bougie cafes and everything. And I feel like this is just about time. They're probably going to open up a McDonald's or a KFC in here. And, and this might not be
as you know it.
As you know it.
What the story of Empress Market confirms is that buildings, symbols, and heritage have inherent power to a people. They can galvanize, give hope, and inspire. They are representations of who we are, tangible objects of identity and relics of our stories. They give us purpose and roots. And when we neglect them, or worse, destroy them, it's as if we are killing a part of who we are also.
Okay, so we're standing at Delhi Gate right now, and the reason that this is Delhi Gate is that Delhi is in this direction. So whenever people used to travel by foot, by road to Lahore, so this is from where they came in, and that is an actual gully which is like 3 feet wide, and there are houses in there.
You hear? Families eating, having dinner, washing up, being done.
You know why it's so narrow?
No. Well, back in the day when you had a lot of like wars going on in the Mughal era, you needed to have like very confined spaces so that enemy lines couldn't break into.
They could be narrow.
Like,
oh, damn, dope.
Yeah, residential areas. Yeah.
This is my friend Zain, founder of street fashion brand Rasta, which has pioneered South Asian street fashion, featuring in huge magazines and even being worn by celebrities. Rasta has captured the imagination of a generation attempting to merge old heritage with new silhouettes.
I always knew I wanted to do something that was very narrative and artistic,
And fashion just ended up being that calling just because I've lived in so many different parts of the world, and I knew that I could mix in so many perspectives and aesthetics with local artisanship, something that no one was really doing. Take the traditional techniques, but then create something that was very new. We've got block prints that are about close to, I want to say, 100 years or so old. And then we got those block prints remaking the wooden blocks so we can bring them back to life. And we've printed them on these, different, beautiful colored silks.
So in the beginning, how did Lahore respond to like your work? Was it
not that well. We actually got a lot of backlash. I guess because it was a different way of doing things. And when we started, there was no really concept of streetwear the way we were doing it. So we came into the market as like this big shock. But then people started to sort of warm up to it. There was a lot of international press that we got that led to a lot of local Pakistani consumers buying into the brand as well. So that we're living in this post-colonial hangover where if the white man gives you the stamp of approval, Pakistanis are going to be like, okay, we got to wear this now. It's sad, but that's sort of how I would say Rasta has gained notoriety locally. Before this, we were going crazy in the United States and in the UK. We had a bunch of celebrities wear the brand as well, and then it just sort of, I guess, turned into a snowball effect from there.
Do you feel like people engage with your work and art differently here as opposed to like the UK and the US?
Definitely. I think diaspora kids find our work as sort of a connecting point between themselves and stories that perhaps their grandfathers may have told them. And it's sort of like this enchanting doorway into Narnia for them, because then they can relate to their heritage in a way that is accessible, consumable, and relatable, right? In a very hip sort of way. And
no, it's not accident they're in like Lahore, which is like this ancient capital of culture. And
yeah.
How much does like you being like in Lahore affect the way you see culture and your work? And
that's a great question. And any human being that walks around the city will be inspired by some way, shape, or form. If you're an architect, you're going to be looking at the buildings. If you're into construction, you're going to be looking at the roads. If you're an artist, you're going to be looking at the wall graffiti. If you're into fashion, you're going to be looking at the textiles. So there's this constant plethora of creative stimulation that is around us, and I think it massively frames the way I think.
Oh damn, this is where all the stock is.
Oh, I think I have a gift for you.
Ooh!
What?
Zain affirms the idea that diaspora and local Pakistanis consume culture differently, and he attaches a lot of the success of his brand to the diaspora's need to represent their culture in the foreign context they find themselves in. Is this proof that diaspora Pakistanis don't have more, but have a unique type of appreciation for their cultural heritage, especially given they are so detached from it? Is that why these walls and domes, these frescoes and palettes, this marble and sandstones are having such a huge impact on me? What is clear is that a brand like Rasta, which is translating heritage into the present and future, making so many feel their culture is alive and present, can only be born in a city like Lahore, where it is surrounded and rooted by legacy.
Yo guys, so right now we're at the best Nahari place in Lahore. Nahari is like my favorite dish of all time. So I'm on like an expedition to find where in Pakistan to get the best Nihari. And
we're at Waris Nihari, and I'm going to present you with Mr. Waris himself. आप इनको बताएं कि अच्छी निहारी आपके ख्याल में क्या होती है, क्या चीज़ निहारी को अच्छा बनाती है?
निहारी अच्छी निहारी को सबसे पहले आला गोश्त होना चाहिए, गोश्त अच्छा होना चाहिए सबसे पहले। उसके बाद उसके मसाले अच्छे होने चाहिए, उसकी रेसिपी अच्छी, और उसके ऊपर मेहनत होनी चाहिए।
आप कितने घंटे पकाते हैं निहारी को?
ये सुबह 6 बजे पकती है, ठीक है, और शाम को 4 बजे तैयार होती है।
6 से 4। अच्छा। और
इसके 8 घंटे जो है उसके ऊपर बुनाई करते हैं।
अच्छा।
उसने कहा ऐसी निहारी नहीं हमने कही। अच्छा। बेस्ट निहारी उसने। और इसको इबादत समझ के इस काम को करता हूँ। पर मैं आप कर रहा हूँ।
खुद कर रहे हैं?
खुद अपने हाथ से कर रहा हूँ।
बेहतरीन।
और जुनून है मुझे। अब जैसे अपने काम में जुनून नहीं होता, मुझे वो जुनून है।
The lessons of Lahore are now clear to me. It's that greatness takes time. Mastery takes time. Perfection takes time. And whether it's buildings or arts or food, Lahore honors legacy. And the way Waris cooks is just pure obsession to the food legacy of Lahore. His kitchen is an apothecary, and him a mad scientist concocting this magical brown elixir. He obsessively monitors every minute detail. There's flames, culinary reactions, and crackles until finally this potion is ready. This formula of acid, earth, and broth. A bowl of perfection.
One of the best naharis I've ever had, ever. Like, this is ridiculous.
Better than my nahari.
I don't even more.
Yeah, he's not even
Alright, we've got some fresh naan here. We're gonna pull it apart. Look at that, boy. You don't mess around in Lahore, son. Look at that. Okay. Get a good bite. Whoa. Yo, that is insanely delicious. Honestly, one of my favorite dishes in the world. And apparently one of the best places in Pakistan to have it. It's chili, aromatic, spicy, the meat is tender.
Without the tadka, it doesn't
the tadka is very good. This is with desi ghee, right?
Yeah.
It tastes, it's what makes it, the desi ghee.
Hermione over here with all the answers.
And you are what? Voldemort?
I'm like, my Harry Potter vibes.
Yeah, without Hermione, Harry Potter couldn't do anything.
Without Ron, he was nothing. Yeah.
Basically, I'm Voldemort.
Major Slytherin vibes.
Like in Pakistan, food heritage is a big deal. How important does it play in like your everyday life?
You need to eat 3 times a day. If you are me, you need to eat 5 times a day.
Food is a part of
We
it.
have nothing else.
We have nothing else to do.
Food is the only entertainment in Lahore and Pakistan. We don't have bars, we don't have clubs, we don't have.
Al Haram.
It's bar, yeah.
You go to a wedding, you eat. You want to celebrate something, you eat.
There's a lot of you here are like involved in like the culinary space of like starting restaurants or blogs or like articles, etc. Is that heritage, that deep heritage, is it like an anchor and stops like food innovation in the city because people just love their Lahori food that they've been growing up eating?
So Lahore is just really into their own food.
We like to maintain the old heritage the way it was done. In Karachi, it's slightly different. There are people from a lot of different cultures, so people are willing to experiment more.
Most immigrants came and settled in Karachi. So the kind of street food you find there, like I call it a mini India. Because I love it. Yeah, there's like so much. You don't find that kind of pan here. You don't find that kind of like, chaat papri and like a bunch of things. So it's like a mini India. Karachi's like something else.
How do you feel about that, Alima?
Lahore is all about culture. Lahore is all about food. But so we love our food the way it is, and we embrace the food that the way it is, and we don't like innovation.
Boring.
Karachi people make a mess out of this innovation. they overdo it, man.
Okay, so this is what I've learned. I got it all wrong. The rich legacy of Lahore isn't the opulent palaces, the tales of royal romance and illusions of grandeur. The legacy of Lahore is held in the innocence of the people. It's that old man obsessively cooking a bowl of nahari for 8 hours every day. You see, paint fades and bricks crumble, but a devoted heart endures it all. Endures all the pain this country has gone through. So whenever I question myself, my need to validate who I am through things or objects, I've learned that the greatest legacy and attachment is always preserved within.
Nadir's in Pakistan, baby! Yeah, buddy!